Hey, hello, welcome everybody to another CTC webinar. Today we're going to be talking about corridors again, part 2 of 4, I believe, 3 or 4, but this is part 2. The last time we did just an introduction and kind of showed you the UI. Today we're going to do some target mapping, sort of some basic stuff, and we can get a little more detailed as the other ones go. Just kind of want to show you how things work with our corridor tools. My name's Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. And never mind the date, I just noticed that is wrong. Today it's the 31st of August today. So thank you for joining us. As we go along, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the questions panel, and if we can get to them during the broadcast, we will. Otherwise, stick around and we'll try to answer them when we're through here. So CTC Software, what do we have here? We have some productivity tools, and we have our Sim Project Suite and our Manager Suite. Today we're going to be talking about the Sim Project Suite. And Corridor Mappers is a part of our Sim Project suite of tools intended for everyday Civil 3D users creating design and production drawings. As always, our plugins work back 4 versions, now to version Civil 3D version 2020. So corridors. So you can see on our toolbar up there, it's highlighted towards the middle. And why do we use our corridors over native? Well, it's a little more, we feel it's a little more versatile than the native tools. A similar interface, meaning that we can get at all of the same functionality and a little more. But I think in a more streamlined interface with additional functions and some auto select functionality in there, which is going to save time targeting through filtering and other things. Excuse me. So what is our corridor tools? It's our corridor cleanup, which removes multiple targets. It's our corridor mapper, which we're going to be focusing on today. We have some automatic target linking. So we set up targets, we can auto map targets, rename layers and subassemblies, and layers from assemblies are also part of our corridor mapper. We also offer corridor splitter, which is very similar to the native tools, but you won't have to leave our toolbar if you have it active, along with corridor merger. So again, we don't have to switch to the Civil 3D contextual tabs to do that. So with that, let's jump into drawing that I have for us to look at today and see how this thing works. All right. Hopefully you can see that. There, I see it popped up. Okay. So what we have here is we have a very basic corridor. If you've seen some of our other videos, it's the same demo one. It's works well for this presentation. It's small, but it's versatile. And we can highlight some of the things we do. So with that, we have this corridor created, which I've done ahead of time, created a profile to match it, and some subassemblies down here. So we need these subassemblies to plug into our corridor to make this thing go. So these subassemblies have some targeting built into them, typical that you might be building for your own projects. Again, it's a little part down. We have some driveways, some conditional subassemblies on either side here in our daylighting. We included a sidewalk here with the driveways where they're not, where we don't have the driveways. So I also have another one here that will come into play in other webinars, but you might have a whole stack of them. I'm going to show you something else with one of our other tools here. Typically when you're doing these, you would, whoops. I know when I've done them in the past, you have an area like this where you stack all your subassemblies that you've created so they're available to use your recorder mapper. How do you keep track of them? How do you know what their names are? I'm going to show you Label Genie how we can quickly label these. So if you have a whole stack of them, then we can see exactly which ones we're using. So I'm just going to go in here. This will only take a minute. I know it's off topic, but show you how easy it is to label them. So you don't have to do it by text. So I'm going to use multi-line text, and assemblies came up right away. I'm going to use the origin that's the only offer we have there. So just like any of our other Label Genie things, we have different ways of grabbing them. I'm going to grab them manually. Come down here, just grab these these assemblies. Set my formatting. Set my formatting. I'm just going to leave it at standard. 0 is okay. This is already set to go. Height. What you need to do here is you need to push over the name style, and you can push over any of these right here. So that would live here if it wasn't pushed over. In fact, I can delete it real quick and then show you where it is. So it's right here. We push it over. We've got it. We've got some other functionality here. If you wanted to, in fact, I'll click that on for uppercase and I'll just say apply. And then should be ready to go. So it's going to put 3 on there. Okay. So now we know which ones we want to work with. So we're going to work with this named one right here, full section. That's what I want to do. Being a little clunky today. So we're going to work with this full section one. We also have the curve return one, which we'll do on a later webinar. But today we're just going to work with the full section one. So with that, let's take a look at natively how we do this. Oh, it popped up. I missed it. Here we go. Okay, so if we're going to map our targets, we would pull this. And if you've done these before, which I'm sure many of you have, you've been in here, and it's pretty cool. They've done a lot of improvements since 2022. I believe they added a bunch of stuff here, but still you can do some multi-selections. You can do a lot of cool things here that CTC corridors have been doing for quite a while here. But what we don't have is we don't have the slope, width and slope. I will show you that. But we have some cool settings, but to make these boxes come alive, you have to actually pick something. So if I'm here, and that's kind of, I think, a detriment, that you can only do that if you want to do a width. You got to do there, you got to do there. So that's kind of how it's done natively. And you'll see that our corridor mapper does all that and a little bit more. So the first thing you want to do then is go to, let me explain a little bit what we're going to do before I move on here. So basically we're just going to map these. These are driveways. We're going to map these by layer. We'll show you how we can map those. In fact, let me erase a couple of these to show you. Copy. Oh, there, we'll just get that out there. Get that one out of there. That's good. We'll just take those 2 out. We'll add a couple back here. Let me get that one out of there too. We'll just focus on that end. So we're going to map these driveways. We're going to map a widening here, drawn in with just a P line. We've got some offset alignments here too. left and right. So offset alignment, 1 and 2 on the right, or the left, I mean. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's open it up and get going here. So setup targets you saw from the slide. In Corridor Mapper, we offer all 3 of these here, the rename layers and layers from Subassemblies. We will do at a later webinar. So we're just going to focus on this one today. I want to keep these kind of short and to the point and give you guys the feel for the tool. So right away when you open it up, if you were with us last week, we went through how all this gets set up a little bit. Include the XREFs. We have some other settings here. These will control what you want to look at when you're including XREFs, similar to the live drawing here. So let's start with our width and offset. So we have this filter here too, which is not native. You don't have that natively. It's by default, it tells you which baseline they're on. So if we have many different regions, we won't have to include the regions. We have no baseline, no region. If they're all part of the same corridor alignment right here, you might have driveways on several different ones instead of switching regions and your alignments or your baseline right here. This will enable you to grab all of them. And again, we will show you that at a later one. So you saw from the options box and the XREFs, same thing here. This is all live. We can auto map some of these targets if they're set up and ready to go. We don't have that. I don't have that today. So I'm just going to show you how to do this, like basically from scratch, like in the native. So right away, this is grabbing our main full, which we saw down here, right here. Since we named it, we know what that is. It's no mystery. So we're going to use the main full for our presentation today. So we said we're going to do those driveways. So first thing, again, if you had a big long list here, and we'll divide those out in another webinar, but you can do your filter right here. And natively, it has a pretty cool pull down, but you got to go click, click, click. You got to click, click. Here we just start typing and it starts to show up. So we're just going to do the driveways left, driveways right. We'll show you some different ways to pick your targets there. So we're going to do these by layer to start with. We're going to map these by layer. And as you saw when I highlighted it, it's on layer driveways. So it's drawn on that driveway. So we don't have to scroll through here and find it. I can use the filter and I can select right here. And right away it popped up. We got 13 of them. It's finding all of them. Of course, it's only going to affect the left right here, but it's finding all of them on each side, everyone that's drawn. And then we can double click in here. Same as native, we can see what it's grabbing right here. So all these polylines, we know they're polylines. Cancel, we told that to look for them right here in the reference method only, which we're doing right here. So selection or mirror, it won't. And we can select it also individually. So I'm just going to go ahead and we've got those mapped. So we can hit the apply button. I'm going to pull this off. Actually, I'll slide it up here. Let's scrunch this down so I can show you. If we hit the apply, it's going to happen as we're viewing it. So ready, you get your confirmation box right here. Again, all the same as the other one. It's the same stuff right there. Oh, I should say too, we're running version 24.1 right now, hopefully with another update coming very soon, just a few days, I hope, to a week. But this will tell you what version you're running. If you don't have it, you can grab it. We have help videos. Go to our support right here in the user's guide if you want to see more about it. So I'm going to say okay right here, or yes, and you're going to see we did the left side. So there, because of the code sets, the hatching to see visually what we've got going here. So it picked those right away. And maybe you did it and you need to add more, and you don't have to close the interface to do it to see what's happening. So let's grab this one. Now I can do this a couple of different ways. I can go ahead and I can pick this again, or I can do it by mirror right here. If I do it by mirror and clear this box here, hit the clear button there. So the mirror is just like natively the copy. So it's asking me which one do I want to copy. Well, we set the targets for the left side, so we want to mirror it to the left side. All the same targets are there. So it's popping the same 13, and it's finding those on this side now. So if I say okay, right here, it will exit the box, and it should do all those targets. So I'm going to say okay, or yes, right here. It's going to leave the interface, and it did all those. So if you were in the real world and you were doing one of these, and it was development, let's just say, and now we added some lots we wanted to add. Maybe we change our lots, whatever. We're going to have some driveways. Add some driveways. I'm just going to, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to mirror a couple right across. We'll do one there. We'll just throw, see, we'll do this one. I lost my command. Hang on. Okay. Okay, there's another one. Let's do one more. I just throw this one across. So let's do that one more time. Jump today. Okay, so we, oh shoot, it said no. Hang on. Okay. So with that now, since it's already all targeted, we don't have to go back. We don't have to open up setup targets. We don't have to go reselect and have it find them again. With the auto map targets, it already knows they're there. Everything is the same. So all I need to do is click this auto map, grab my corridor. You can see now it pumped up, whatever, I think it was 29, now it's 13, whatever. The number definitely went up. I say yes. It's rebuilding the corridor here, and there, pop those in that quick. And you can do that for anything if you're doing a widening, what have you. So let's go ahead and let's do these widenings. So let's open corridor mapper back up. Okay, so now we want to widen the lane. We have our lanes right here with our targets. Everything's built into them. But we want to grab this as our target. So again, if you have a lot of them, I'm just going to show you this again. And we can do this the same way. So these are lanes. I have them right there. I'm going to do, again, just the left to start with. And here we can do it by style. And we're going to do it by offset. We're going to use our offset alignments here. So I can just say I want my offsets. It would show more if we add them. But we're seeing right here what it is. So if I just click that right there, it says 3. So it knows it found the 3 that we have, which is this one, and this one. So I'm going to click OK here. And that increased by 3. It was 32. I'm going to say yes here. As it rebuilds, and we see it widened those out by that. So now what if I did the mirror here? Or I want to try to make this do something not right. We'll see if it does. I'm going to try the mirror again. Whoops. To add that one, or a different way to do it. Let's put the same filter back in here. Center it down. So we want to talk about this guy. Let's see what happens if we do the mirror here. So driveway left. And now it found 16. I don't think that's a good thing. Let's see what it found. So it found a whole bunch more polylines. So here I'm going to slide it over to here. Scrunch it down. I'm going to hit apply to see what happens. 51 it jumped up to. Well, that is clearly not what we wanted to do. So how do we fix that? Easy enough. We've got a highlighted cell. I click it here, it goes back to 0. I'm going to turn the mirror off. Put it back to reference. I'm going to reselect my offsets. Now it found the same 3 again. Pull that up. Or not. Okay, I'll slide it there. So I'm going to say, I'll just say OK right here and leave it. We'll say OK, we get our confirmation again, back down to 38. And there it filled that one in too. Now we could have, of course, done that. Uh-oh. Something bad hanging on there. See if we can fix that. I'm going to clear all them targets. So I think because I wanted to do it wrong, I did it really wrong, apparently. So you know it's those lanes and with by width and offset. I was talking about what natively doesn't offer slope elevation to it. Turns on different things here. But I'm going to go with the lane. I'm going to highlight, we can do multi-selection. I'm going to clear it all. So I'm going to clear it and I'm going to rerun it just to make sure it goes back to the way it should have been. And then we'll do them all. Okay. Now we're back to square one. Easy enough. Let's set up those targets again. Use our same filter typing. So this time I'm going to select them both. We're going to do it by style again, leaving our filter here. Easy to reselect. And I'll say OK again. And yes. And it did it again. What did I set up wrong? Well, I don't know. I did something incorrect here. I really don't know why it did that. Let me try one more time. Oops. I'll just clear the left this time. See if we can get that how we want it to be. Or the right, I mean, I'm sorry. Clear that one, hung on to those. I'm gonna hit apply here. Yes. All right, let's see if we can fix it this way. And we're gonna do that anyway, so we'll just grab it here. So it only has the one. Here we see it's the Main Street right, 12 feet. Okay. And I'm gonna say okay. No, it didn't do it that time. So I don't know what I did. But you can see how easy it is to fix. So then if you have the alignments, if you know all that's gonna happen ahead of time, what have you, you have your parking bays and maybe something gets added here at the last minute. So we can just draw this in by polyline. I went ahead and drew these by polyline. And you can do this by layer, which I drew them on the line or lane layer. If it ever pops up, for some reason going really slow today. So it's on layer lane. So again, we could use the same mapping by layer. I'm going to do it by single selection. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. There's a driveway appearing. I have a question here. There's a driveway appearing with no associated line. Is there a reason for that? Not seeing it. Maybe that was part of my error before. I think maybe it went away. If you don't see it again, Connor, I guess it went away. No, there wasn't a reason for that other than when I added a couple more driveways. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I don't know. I must have had a bad target hanging out there. Maybe it's on a frozen layer or off layer or something. I don't know what may have happened there. But let me select recorder again. Good eyes, by the way, to pick that out. If it was more complicated, you might not have even seen that. So let's do the lane again. So again, if I went here and I said by lane, we wanted to select it. I don't want it by style. Not sure if I'm gonna leave it clicked on because I think I'll lose that if I don't. I don't know if it was tied to this, Connor, somewhere hanging in there. But anyway, so let's go grab and add those lines. Because they're polylines, we can get at them. I can just go grab it right there. And I'm just going to click apply right here. Now it increased by 1, so it should work. So that one kicked out. So there we go, brought the other driveway with it, hooked on, even though the targets are back here. So what if I click this one and I do it by layer? Let's try that. I don't think it's going to work right, but we'll try it. I think it's going to screw everything up again. So we got 5. So we got Main Street right. It's going to include that. I don't want it to include that one. I'm going to take that out of there. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to hit apply right here. It'll work there. I didn't screw that one up, so I think we're good. So you can see there's several different ways to get at it. I'm just going to let it rerun again. To get at that for widening, targeting specific things right there. So for the last thing we're going to do is just we're going to do the surface, and we'll take a look at what the whole corridor looks like. Let's go ahead and open that up one more time. We can set up targets, and you certainly could have, as I'm sure you have figured out by now, we could do this all in one fell swoop, all at once if we know all of our targeting, and if you set it up, you most likely do. You know exactly what you want to do. But as soon as we click this, the only thing we're going to see is our what we can target for surfaces, which is our daylight general from down here from our subassembly. So again, we could filter it, all this thing and stuff. And if we make, or if there are other subassemblies, we can set this for our default. So by default, it's going to go, and in most cases, it probably is your existing ground that you want to target. I'm going to put it back to none, and I'm just going to highlight both of these because I wanted to keep this short. This isn't that tricky. So I'm going to click there. We can't see what it is here, but we know that's the only thing we can get. And I'm going to say OK out of here. And now we see it's including 2 surface targets and a widening target. So it's going to rebuild every time. I'm going to say OK. And there's our daylight lines on either side, dictated by our subassembly conditionals right there. So let's see what that looks like. Make sure everything looks good. That's probably going to open up on screen, which it did. Bring it over here. So there's our corridor. There's our created corridor. So we can see our driveways right here. And our sidewalk running here. And it's daylighted out. So then, too, if you needed to make any adjustments to your finished ground profile or whatever, rerun it. It'll hang on to all these targets. And we'll just have to rebuild your corridor, which I have set over here. Created that corridor before, and I had it on rebuild automatic. Should be on automatic anyway, but that's where that's coming from. So really, that's all I wanted to show you guys today. I want to try to keep the time short today. And I see there's another question, and I will get to that after we finish here. So stick around for that, Robert. And I jump back to my PowerPoint here. So that's it for the live demo portion of it today. Thank you for joining us today. Again, it's part of our SIM project suite of tools. We're currently at version 24.1. As I mentioned before, 24.2 to come out very shortly. If you have any questions or ideas, or you want to see anything else in upcoming webinars, contact us at our website at ctcsoftware.com. Also, if you need any help, you can go through your local reseller, or you can contact us directly here, and we'll try to help you the best we can. So with that, thank you for joining us today.